It's good to see so many faces. Thank y'all for coming and thank you for supporting the league. Guest, if you have a guest with you, or would you please stand up and introduce yourself? Any way you roll. Ciara Pineda. Dan Fetter. New members too. Please, dear. West Jordan. Shirley Beth Rogers. I said new members and guests. New members and guests. Okay, well, hey, we're glad you're here. Shannon. All right. Got a couple of announcements, and thank y'all for coming, and I hope that you find the Crooked Creek Art League your home. And so we really like having new members, and we like having you here. And watch out, we will get you involved. I'm warning you. I am warning you. Okay, I have one announcement that I wanted to bring out. It's from the Newberry Shrine Club. And basically what it says is that they're doing a poker run on June 11th, and then they're going to do a silent auction. 100% of the monies raised goes to the Greenville Children's Hospital right here in the state of South Carolina. And the way we could help, if some of you have pictures that you're willing to donate for them to sell at the silent auction, or any of you who are willing to do the poker run or go to the silent auction afterwards. It's advertised everywhere, but anyway, if you want to put or make a donation to the Shriners to use for the silent auction, I will come over here June 8th, and I will send this out in the email too, from 10 to 12, and take up any donations that people may have. And then I will get with the lady and hand them over to her that afternoon. That way they'll have them before Saturday when they run that. So if you're interested in that, please contact me, because I know with us waiting until June 11th, you may be like me and have a senior moment and forget. So I will be sending it out again and try to send some reminders, but if you'll bring it, I'll make sure they get it. And again, 100% of the money that they raise is given to the Greenville Shriners Hospital in Greenville, South Carolina. Yes, ma'am.
She has donation. She has donation receipts for everybody.
So she has a donation receipt for everybody too. Just so you know, but I mean, she and I talked, and Alex put us onto this and told us, and I can't think of a better fundraiser or a group that needs funding better than the Shriners Hospital. And I mean, it's just something I have to say. Alex, I need you to come up, and Alex is going to give y'all some good news. Yes, you have to come.
Really want me to talk.
You have to come around. And Barbara, you're going to be after her. If you want to go ahead and make your way around, I would greatly appreciate it. And Kay, Lisa, and Lainey, y'all will be in third if y'all would like to come on around.
Okay. If you all don't know who I am, I'm Alex DiFrancesco, and I'm the grant writer for Crooked Creek Art League. This year we've been working very, very hard. Me, myself, and I. And where is Barbara?
She's coming around.
Oh, there she is. And Barbara on the Connected Community Grant. And Barbara will explain what it is because it's really complicated. But, but we just got an announcement, and we are one of 12, only 12. Now, there were thousands of applicants, but we were one of 12 that received a $5,000 grant. Oh. Trail through Chapin. Okay, and Barbara will explain all this. There were only 3 art groups that received grants out of the 12. So it was very, very highly competitive. So, and you have to go through like a 4-step process. So it's really, it takes a village. And really, everybody's in the village here. So, but anyway, Miss Barbara.
All right, first of all, I dispute that it's complicated. It's not. It is, however, great. And some of you have heard a little bit about this previously. We talked about it earlier in the year, a little bit. We talked about the idea of it last year. We have been working very actively to try and put more community art out throughout the entire community. And so we've been working for several years. We've been doing different projects. We did the big sailboats, which some of you might have seen or remember. We did the trail markers. We've done a number of different things. And in addition to that, there are a number of other public art pieces that are already scattered throughout the community. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to establish permanently what's called the Chapin Art Trail. And what it's going to be is it's going to take all of those pieces of art that are out in the public, and it's going to put them together into a packaged bundle that are going to be accessible to the public at any time because they're in public, but they're going to be able to find out about it and participate in it because we are going to put at each piece of artwork a sign that has Crooked Creek Art League on it. It's going to have a scannable code. And it's going to tell all about the artist, and it's going to tell all about the artwork, and it's going to point it back to the league. So it kind of ties it all back together. It's a very supportive thing for the town. The town is very excited about it. So at every piece of artwork, there's going to be a sign. There's also going to be a website. So when they scan it, it'll take them back to the website. It'll give them all that information. And anybody who goes out and goes around town and finds a bunch of these pieces, they're participating in basically a scavenger hunt. And if they complete enough of them, they get put into a quarterly drawing to win prizes. All of this is paid for by the grant funding. So all of that we think is a very exciting thing. We're going to continue to do projects in the future. And as we put more art out in the community, it will get added to the trail. So it will continue to evolve and grow. And as a part of that, as part of the $5,000 this time, instead of doing one project with a whole bunch of littler pieces throughout town, we're going to buy one big piece. So we're going to put a request for proposals out for artists who are interested in doing one large scale art piece that will become part of the trail. And that'll be part of this effort from this grant for this particular project as well. So all of that is exciting. All of that's great news. People love the artwork we put out there. People love learning more about it. So all of that's great. In order for those things to happen, we need money, which we've got. Thank you, Alex. And we also need helpers. So that's the second part of my talk is I need somebody. I need more than one somebody. I need several somebodies to volunteer to help be part of a committee. I promise not to work anybody terribly, terribly hard, but we've got to put together the signs. We've got to get them installed at each location. We've got to make sure that everything's finalized, excuse me, with the website. And we've got to help plan for doing a booth at the Labor Day Festival again to announce it to the world and make everybody get excited about it and want to go participate in it. So I need some volunteers to help with a couple of those things. Again, not a lot of work. The booth at Labor Day will probably require the most hands-on stuff, and that be installing the signs. So if you're willing to put in a couple hours here and there and help with doing all of those kinds of things, please let me know, because I'm really well known in the league for going and finding people if you don't come to me. But I promise not to hurt anybody. So please let me know. It is a lot of fun to participate in these things. And I tell you, everybody that you get engaged with and you're doing it is so excited about it, so grateful for it. So it makes you feel good as well. And it's a wonderful way to try and get to know a few of the other members of the league. Because I will tell you that this is a great organization of people, but you won't really appreciate that unless you get engaged, like get involved and get to know some of them. And then you'll find out we're really one big giant family. So let me know if I can twist your arm just a little bit and get you to help with it. Okay. Thank
ask
you.
a question?
Absolutely, questions, sorry.
No volunteer, just questions.
Oh, no, if you raise your hand to ask a question, you volunteer too, so, yeah. Thank you for my first volunteer. What would you like to do?
Are we going to do as Crooked Creek, just one art piece? That is what you said, but I wasn't. sure.
This year, we're gonna do one large piece instead of a bunch of little ones. Next year, we'll come up with a different project, and it'll probably be a bunch of individual ones that individual artists or teams of artists can work on, like we've done in the past. But this time, because we're working on trying to put the trail up at the same time, we're just gonna do one big one.
So do you have a home for that big piece yet? Do you
We
know
have
where it's-
several possible homes that we are discussing with the town, but I don't have one single site identified yet.
So this is like a mural that we did with a bunch of people working on it?
Yes, well, it could be that, it could be a team of people working on one large project, or it could be a single artist who says, hey, I want to do the whole thing, and, you know, give me X amount of money, and it's a sizable chunk. I mean, we got $5,000, then I'm gonna do the whole thing. And so it could be one or the other type of proposal. For this
Like a
year.
sculpture thing you're having?
Could be a sculpture, could be a mural, could be, I mean, we're artists, you can be creative, come up with what you think is a good idea.
So it will remain permanently where?
It will remain permanently where we install it, yes.
It's gotta be outside friendly though.
It has to be outside friendly, that's a very good point, thank you, I should have said that. Yes,
Does the proposal have to include where it's going to be or what
the proposal will not, you can make a recommendation for where it would be well housed, but we can't promise you that site until we work out the logistics with the property owner. So you can recommend the location that you want it to be, but we don't have that nailed down as far as agreement with the property owner yet. For me to be able to say, yes, it can be positively in this one single spot. Okay. Other questions? And thank you for volunteering. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But really, come help. I tell you, I'm really not that mean. I'm pretty good to work with, and we'll have a lot of fun. So let me know. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Barbara, and please get involved. You'll love more. More of this league you'll love, the more you get involved, I promise. Okay, we got an after action report from our jury show.
One last thing about 2022. We did our after action report and we took in, oh, sorry. I know I love doing it. Love it.
I'm sorry, I just got
Sorry.
everybody's hand.
We had quite a few comments about how we could change the show, but mostly everybody loved it. Everybody was very positive and everything went well. And so we're really happy about that. But we did take in all the comments that we had, and we were working on the prospectus. So one thing I'm going to tell you, we really want to try to get 3D art. We were having a problem. We weren't getting enough 3D art. So we're going to make it that if you have your 3 pieces in whatever category that you enter in, you can also do a 3D or 2.
Yes.
Yes. So say you're an amateur and you want to do a piece of 3D art. It won't take away from your art that you enter for your amateur status or masters or photography. It's just to build up our 3D.
Some people do a little bit of everything. And I really like this idea because it gives you the opportunity, even though I like to paint, I like to do other things too. It's the pebble art back there, but it just gives you that opportunity to spread out a little bit with your art. And if you do 3D art of some form, then this way it gives you the opportunity to put something in and not take away from your painting or your photography. But we want to build up that category.
It was either that or do away with it because we were not getting enough 3D art.
And we don't want to do
Other than that, we're working on the prospectus for next year. And obviously it's gonna be different. So when it goes out there, make sure you read it because it'll be a lot different than it was in the past.
Thank you.
Thanks.
They did a wonderful job on our show this year. Please give them a big round of applause again for a great show. Now, I will probably let the cat out of the bag a little bit early here, but Lisa, Kate Stallings has agreed to stay on with the show, and Laney McWilliams is moving to the other show leader, co-chair. So we're looking forward to keeping that. So we're getting better and better every year, and that's what the goal is. We're adding back things to try to get our new members more acclimated. Karen Larrabee, would you stand? Just stand. I'm not gonna make you. Okay. Karen is going to be putting together little packets and she'll be welcoming you, and we're going to try to do as much as we can to make new members feel more welcome and not worry about, well, can I enter this? Can I enter that? We'll have somebody that will help you through all of that. So, and thank you, Karen, for agreeing. So y'all give her a round. Update from the nominating committee. Y'all want to say anything?
You want me to read the list or?
Do y'all want to hear the entire list of who we've already got?
Yes.
But now, I'm going to tell you right now, we need some volunteers to finish our board. We need somebody to help Barbara with social media. And Barbara will tell you what parts she needs you to help with. Whether you take the Twitter or whether you take something else, Facebook, something like that you can help with. We also need a volunteer or volunteers to help with farmers market. There's 3 farmers markets, or there's farmer markets during the summer, and we need people one person that might spearhead. We only have to do one, but we need somebody that might step up and say, okay, I'll run a booth at the farmer's market, June, August, July.
But we can get
No,
help. We get.
But we can get that, we'll have help.
People work at this market, the farmer's market and food.
Yeah, we're looking for that. And we're still looking for somebody to help us with workshops. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. We've got 2 people that are great that's going to plan them. But we need people that's going to be here that can help do the logistics, the food, open up Friday and Saturday when we have the workshops. We need people to help. So if you think that you could do that, even if you don't think you can do that, because we will get you through it if you would just volunteer, I promise. But we do need people that would step up. Okay, I'm going to hand the rest over. You, Alex.
I'm back. Okay. So the 23 executive officers again are Kate Fox president. Yes, ma'am. And can I get the people, if you're in the audience, could y'all stand up, please? Kate Fox, president. Deb Kelly, vice president. Shirley Britton, secretary. Maureen Carter, treasurer. Sandra Oliver, parliamentarian. And Barbara Tussing, webmaster. Okay. Now we have committee chairs and coordinators. Chamber rep Ruby Deloche and JJ Casey. Okay. Community Art Project, Barbara Tussing. Fundraising, Mary Collette. New members, Karen Larrabee. Public Galleries, Alan Biedenbaum. Grant applications, Alexandra DiFrancesco. Greeter Melanie Watt. She is. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Where am I? Okay. Drew Cho, Laney McWilliams, and Kay Stallings. Okay. Membership, Rebecca Horn. Photographer, Brian Fox. Publicity, Sandra Oliver. Still Hopes, Bobbi Sorensen and Diana Johnson. I think everybody's going to be standing up at the end. Social media, Barbara. And whoever helps. Technical setup, Carrie McCann and Brian Fox. And Carrie, I'm sorry. Joey, okay, and Joey. I don't know, sorry. The workshops, again, we don't have a person for workshops, but Al Light and Sonya Diimmler will be helping. The Irma Library exhibit, Bobbi Sorensen and Diane Johnson. And refreshments coordinator, Carol Hartman. Okay, anybody that's sitting down, you all are doing everything else. Okay, that's it, you're done. No, don't sit down. You can just, okay, so that's everybody for 22, 23. And please, 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 if you could just do a little bit of something, you know, because I know a lot of you all maybe just can't do a lot because you're still working or something, but there's so many like small jobs, even with Barbara doing working on maybe a Facebook page, our Facebook page, just something to help her, you know, so she can do other things. So it's not, we're just going to throw you into the lions. That's not what we're doing. Okay. It's just, you know, and ask us, because, you know, we're all here. So Kay's always here. I think she lives here. So anyway, thank you guys.
Technically, I live in Blackwood. Okay, thank you for those of you who have agreed to volunteer, and those of you who did not get called. We want you to get involved, and we'd love to have your help. We have the positions available, and please talk. One other thing that we're going to add, and I want y'all to know, we're adding a plaque to honor our founding members. The plaque is being ordered, and it's going to have the name of the founding members of the Crooked Creek Art League, and it will be housed in the Tap Gallery in the cabinet. It will be housed in the Tap Gallery in the cabinet, so everybody can see it. Now, for the fun part, and you're going to have to listen to the directions. Those of you who brought pictures tonight, you're going to have to get your picture and bring it up. You have them numerical, so we'll know. Do you want them to come numerically or just let anybody? Just, if you've got your picture, how about, let's help me out and you'll pick it up, or let's bring 5 up at a time and get your pictures. You're going to bring your picture here. We're going to hang it right here so that Zoom people can see it clearly. And then you will talk whatever you said in your artist statement or something. You can say that right here, or you can choose not to. But you're going to have to say something. And then I will hand it back to you. And after you get through, you will go back here, go between my husband and right there, and go put it back wherever it was hanging. And I thought we'd be a little more, you know, we can't go through because we don't have a long enough cord, but so we're going to have to monitor and adjust. So that is what we're doing. So could I get, start back here at the back? How about the first 4 or 5 people that will get it and come stand right here? What?
I just thought there might be more room. There, that's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. It just gives them more room to come in.
Yeah.
Okay, Turtle, you can come on, you don't have to wait. You're the man with the plan, you ready, so hand me your picture. Stand back here. Stand here so they can hear you. Microphone has to be at your mouth.
Yeah, so, well, we need to make sure.
Okay. I'm gonna stand right here.
So we need to make sure.
Okay.
My name's Doc Apple.
Hey. Y'all might need to move so y'all can see.
Anyway, my name's Doc Apple. I'm a photographer. And my piece is of a tufted titmouse. And, okay.
There you go.
Now, I would have taken this picture in my backyard, but my plan was earlier in the year to set up a backyard birds photography area. But I had shoulder replacement surgery, so that kind of stopped me from doing that. So I borrowed a backyard from a friend of mine. And so I was able to catch this tufted titmouse right before he was going to fly.
That's it?
One other thing, could they give their number on? the
Yeah,
page
what's the
too?
number?
15.
Erdal's number is 15.
Okay, my name's Alexandra DiFrancesco. This is my photography piece, and I'm number 8. So this is part of my backyard because I have this large group of gaggle of geese. Gaggle of geese that comes and has supper at my house. Now, not in my house, but at my house. And yeah, that time it was. I want to go home. That time, there was a multitude of them, and they all left at once. And so with my camera, I did more of a black and white kind of thing. So they all had dinner and left me with the bill.
Do you need to move that podium? I thought they were gonna put their pictures up. That's why I was trying to push it back, but now you're too tight that way.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay, next person. And how about somebody else go ahead and step up? When people go sit down, somebody step up and get in line. Make it easy. No, you gotta get right here.
The number's number 1, very easy to remember. First, I want to thank Elliot for painting my backyard. I really appreciate that. I wasn't expecting to talk about this, but sorry. This is a painting of my grandniece and grandnephew who live in Minnesota, so it isn't my yard, it's their yard. But they sent me a photo, the grandmother sent me a photo and asked if I would do it. So I changed the yard around. I didn't like the trees that they had in their yards. I'm far enough away that they can't really get me. So, but that's about it. It's an oil. When I heard that we were going to talk, it reminded me when I was in art school, it was the one thing that I absolutely hated about art school is that you had to get up and defend everything you did. And some of it really was indefensible. So thank you.
Number 1. Now, please hold this real close to your mouth.
I paint, I paint what brings me joy, and yellow and bright sunflowers bring me joy. Just ask Big Bird McDonald, yellow is not the right color. So I had a lot of fun painting this, and of course, I thought about the Ukraine while I was painting too, and then I got to thinking about yellow. Yellow also has another side of being jealous, being the coward, or being deceitful or destructive. So the more I thought about it, the more it did fit the Ukraine. Then for Mother's Day, I got a new Bible, large print, and I started reading in Psalms, and all the first Psalms really seem just like a prayer for the Ukraine. So I encourage you to find your Bible and read the first 24 Psalms. It's David crying out to the Lord or to be delivered. So that brought me some joy. I hope it brings others joy. I'm number 6. Number 6.
Oh, number 6. Okay, Cheryl, you got rescued from one.
Okay, my daughter-in-law, we just moved into the house on Chapin in a couple of years ago. And we decided to make a rock garden because neither one of us are into any plants. They'll die. So we did a rock garden, and there's this great big rock there that has to cover the well. It's a fake rock that covers the well, and it just kind of stood out in our garden. So we found this little turtle, and he made us happy. And he's mounted on top of the well rock, and he's the guardsman. He guards the garden. And that's it. I'm number 10.
Okay, number 10.
A photo of a cedar waxwing I took. This is past April in my backyard. Every spring, a flock of cedar waxwings comes to my house, but they rarely come down to pose for me. They usually stay high up in the trees. So this year I found one posed on a dogwood branch right next to my deck. That was exciting for me. That's number 4.
Okay, number 4.
I'm Sandra Wilkie, and this painting is of a statue that is in my friend Dan's backyard. This is a very small statue. She's only about 2 feet tall, and her name is Bird Girl. And she is a replica of a statue that is in a cemetery in Savannah, Georgia. She's become very famous in the area, and a lot of people have had this statue made for their gardens. So Dan has a version. This spring, all of the daffodils came up and almost covered her completely. So I painted her with all the daffodils, and now the daffodils have died away and the lilies have taken over, and they're bigger than she is. My painting is number 3.
Number 3.
Okay, my name is Lisa. This is not a painting. Well, there is some painting on it, but it's called pebble art. And it's done with rocks. And I do a lot of rock art. And this is of my 3 grandchildren and my dog, Sugar. And My granddaughter is on the swing, one grandson's climbing rocks, and the other one's hanging upside down in a tire swing, which is very normal for him. He's autistic and you just never know where he's gonna be. And they are my treasures. So this is truly my treasure in my backyard and everywhere. So it is number 2.
And that was number 2.
Hello.
Hello.
Don't block me. I'm Rebecca Horn. For those of you who know my art at all, you probably know that I like to find unusual things to use in my mixed media pieces. So I found these plant skeletons. They're from a cactus in the Mediterranean. You might like that at all. And I used those. Of course, I glued them back and forth, dipped them in glue, spray glued them, cemented them. They are covered. Painted them, varnished them. They should be there forever. And then, and plus, this painting has a little surprise. I'm gonna try to show you, but I used acrylic paints and oh, I feel like I hit the wrong button. Acrylic paints and iridescent acrylic inks. Is it on? And I added glass beads in it. I don't know if you can see a little sparkle, but it doesn't show up unless you have it in the right light.
Did you put that on Facebook?
I did.
Okay.
So, it was a lot of fun to create it. Overall, it took me about 2 weeks. So I named it Hidden Mysteries of Winter, and it is number 9.
Okay, that was number 9.
I named this Quiet Evening. Normally, there are a lot of people out there at night. When I look outside my window, when I look down from the 2nd floor, I can see all the lights and the chairs, and usually people out there sitting by the beach. It's number 22.
Hello, I'm Shirley Britton. This painting is something that is near and dear to my heart. I am a big fan of hummingbirds. And every year I put out feeders, of course, and I love to see them come. I have an unnatural obsession with them. I think I've painted about 6. So this is number 18.
Number 18.
This is heavy. It's all right.
I'm a farm girl. Just like you.
I'm Anna K. Singley, and I had a hard time learning to paint blur. Has anybody had to paint blur in your life? BLURRR. That's what hummingbirds' wings do. You can't paint them, but I had to fake it. And number 17, you need to take a blur course too. I have never had an instructor that taught me how to paint blur. So I did the best I could. You know how hard it is to paint them while they're moving around? This is actually right out of my back door in a little alcove. I always keep a vase of flowers there. And I was sitting in the swing, maybe 2 feet away from the birds. It didn't bother them. They came to those zinnias and had a ball and just didn't even know that I was there. And it was more fun, but that was done plain air, watercolor on the arches paper. And that's number 17. Oh, the one before me,
18.
number 16.
18.
Was she 18?
She was 18.
She needed blood paper.
Thank you. Number 17.
Sure.
You got it okay?
Right there.
I'm Al Leach, and I was fortunate enough to move to Lexington 32 years ago, and you could actually get a lot that was a little more than an acre. And so it's, anyhow, this is my backyard and the pond behind our house. And we have all these critters that come to the house all the time. And so I decided to put all of them in there except the snakes. I don't like snakes. Let the snakes out. But just going to hang in the gallery all summer long. I thought it'd be kind of neat for the kids to come here and pick out all the critters and see what they can find. So anyhow, that's number 6, I think. It's number 6.
Hi, I'm Lainey Williams, and this is a watercolor. And my sister-in-law is a master gardener in the area. And last year she gave me seeds for moonflower vine. And I just was fascinated. I had never had one before, how big it got. It got over 6 feet high, and it had these huge flowers. I didn't do it justice. I thought it was just a beautiful thing to go out in the dusk or in the dawn and see these flowers blooming in my backyard. So that was the reason I did it.
Number
7.
That's Carol Blackwood, and this is a watercolor. And one of those long-legged yellow and black ones, I forget what they're called, garden spiders or something. Made the banana spiders, tells me Mark. Made this web in my yard. And I was impressed with what he'd done, or she'd done, whoever it was. But anyway, that's what it is. I'm number 21. And I couldn't.
And that was 21. Hey, some more people need to get up and go.
I'm Alan Beesbo. This is watercolor, and it is jonquils, kind of magnified. They really very small, but they bloom so early in the spring that it's really still winter in my opinion. And it's always a surprise to come around the corner of the house and there they are, either blooming or getting ready. And it's number 5.
Okay, number 5. JJ.
I'm JJ Casey, and this is in my front yard instead of in my backyard. It is a monarch butterflies, as you can probably tell. And of course, we all love them. I have butterfly plants everywhere. And I just enjoy looking at them. And I thank God every day that I have one more day, one more night to enjoy the beautiful lake, which is where I live.
Number
19.
Number 19. Number 19. Okay, yep.
I'm Debbie Kelly, and this painting is called Bluebird Nest. I have been very fortunate the last few years to have several bluebirds in boxes in my backyard. And I have really enjoyed watching them, and I've become sort of a bluebird expert. My birds have their own houses. They have a baffle. I even grease the poles to keep snakes from coming up. They also have plenty of mealworms. And you'll get a good laugh out of this. When predators come, I have a child's water gun that's about this long. It shoots 35 feet. And I have used it on several times when something was approaching the nest, and I'm pesky mockingbirds. So my bluebirds sit in the trees and watch when I shoot, and they love it. So they actually let me come to their nest. I can open the door, look at the eggs. We've had one nest already this year with 4 eggs. The babies are now helping with the second nest, and there are 5 eggs that should be hatching anytime. Number is lucky 13.
I guess it's my turn. Robins are very near and dear to me because the first time I ever received a prize, it was 2nd grade, and I did a tree and robins welcoming the spring, and my picture was put up for the monthly calendar in my 2nd grade class. So I chose my robin as my treasure because it always brings me back to my beginnings. And I never thought a robin could look good, but I thought this one looked pretty good. And I told Brian, I said, I think I got the eye this time. So, and
16.
My number is 16.
Hi, I'm Carol Hartman. As you can see, these are irises. I love irises. I've loved them for a long time. I've been a member of the American Iris Society, and here in South Carolina, the South Carolina Iris Society. And there's just something about irises that speak to me. I have roses, I've had peonies, but irises, I think it's the grace of them that speaks to me. And these, I didn't try to do them anatomically correct. I was more interested in just putting in the colors and putting in how they made me feel. So that's really about all there is to say about my irises. But I will also add, if anybody here is breaking apart, separating their irises because they grow in a clump and they keep doubling and doubling, I would be more than happy to buy some of your irises, because when I moved from Pennsylvania, I had a ton of them and a ton of peonies. I had a huge garden, and unfortunately, we were traveling so far down to South Carolina in the heat that I had to leave them behind. So I'm now starting again to build. I have these, I have others, but I'm open to anyone who wants to buy, sell, and rebuy some of your irises or peonies.
Number
And
20.
this is number 20.
Okay, that was number 20 in case you didn't hear. Okay. All right.
I'm Laura Rosser, and these daylilies are named Praying. The daylily itself is kind of important to me because my husband and I grew a lot of daylilies in Nashville. And we were members of the, it was called the American Hemercalis Society now, but that's the name for the daylily. And we grew daylilies there. So when he passed, I was fortunate enough to come to Columbia and live with my daughter. And I was more fortunate than that because my son-in-law grows a lot of daylilies. And this is one of his favorites. And before the Seven Oaks Art League disbanded about 2 years ago, we had the end of the year party just about the same time of year in his backyard that he had done immaculately for that group. Excuse me. And this is a representation of that. It started in plein air painting, and of course it was finished in my studio later. And that's the bed of his favorite daylily, Isle of Capri, and some of his hydrangeas, and a ceiling bed in the back.
Is that all of them? As long as allowed? And number is what?
I didn't catch it.
Number 11. Okay, now, Deborah Kelly is fixing to pass out the ballots for you antsy people that have been asking all night, where's the ballots? We're gonna pass the ballots out. If you need a pen, there's a bag of pens back on the table over there. You may walk around, look at the pictures for 5 minutes. And then we will put the ballots in this little green and white. Hold the box up, please, somebody. The green and white thing. Put your ballot in there. We'll pass it around, and you do that. And while the ballots are being counted, I'm going to talk about member of the year and name our member of the year for this year. So you got 5 minutes. You can only vote for one number. Thank you. Okay, as president, I am thrilled to announce our member of the year tonight. First, though, I want you to know we had 9 deserving nominations for the position. I am sure there are many others of you sitting out here right now that deserve this nomination also. And even so, said we didn't get but 9. And we have 9 contenders, and bear with me. One of our contenders, Barbara Tusink, if you would stand. Folks, I don't have to really read everything they say about Barbara. If you know Barbara, you know she's responsible for so many things and so much of the success of the Crooked Creek Art League. She works through all our community projects. She's done the Zoom. She runs our website and also our Facebook and the social media. She's a large part of the popularity. In fact, I'm pretty sure she's the reason we're here. And I know I can probably point fingers at quite a few others for that same reason. So, she doesn't mind asking, and she's a jewel. And working with her is a blessing. So hopefully you'll get blessed and you'll volunteer to work with her in the years to come. Thank you, Barbara. Kay Stallings. Please stand. Kay Stallings was nominated, and very deservingly so. She came, she joined, and she hit the road running. She has been working since she became a part of this league. I can't tell you things that she's not involved in and how hard she works. So she's been the dreaded position of the jury show chairman for 2 years, and now I twisted that arm a little bit, and you've got her for a third. And again, okay, thank you. Bobbi Sorensen. I don't know if many of you know all that Bobbi does, because Bobbi's kind of a quiet person in the back. Now, you know, Bobbi has done Still Hope before, and last year she wasn't supposed to, but I called her to a meeting and the changing of the guard, and we found out that our new leaders were not going to step up to the COVID restrictions. So Bobbi said, I'll do it again. And she's done this even though she had to go to Europe because she had a daughter that had health issues, and she pulled off a successful Irmo show. I mean, not Irmo, Still Hope show, and she's worked hard. And then when we had the new show and we needed somebody to be the chair, guess who said, well, I'll do it and I can help train somebody for the future. Diana, watch out. But again, Bobbi has done a lot. People don't know the bylaws that we were rewritten and we're all on standard. Bobbi went through every one of those to make sure they were technically correct. So again, Bobbi, thank you. Sandra Oliver, my predecessor. I don't need to tell you a whole lot about Bobbi either. She's parliamentarian, but she willingly volunteers and helps, not just in this today, but in everything. She helped with workshops, set up, get meals. I don't think that there's been an event that we've had that Sandra didn't show up. She's always there volunteering. She'll do anything for any of you that you need. All you have to do is, you don't even have to tell her. You just got to indicate that there's a need. And Barbara's there. And I think that not only Sandra's there. Excuse me. Sorry. And I really will tell you, said one member even told me that she would not rest until she came and laid her eyes on her and realized that she needed to go to the hospital and she had to go to the hospital. So there's a lot about Sandra that you need to get to know. Please get involved. Okay? And then Lainey Williams. Lainey has been our secretary for the last couple of years, and she's planning to take over as one of the co-chairs this year. Again, Lainey was a new member. They hit the road running. She came in, she got involved. She became secretary, I think the first year you were a member, right? Maybe second. Because I remember her coming in that first night to this, and then to the jury show, and then going out to vote and coming back and us talking. But she is always willing to work. And I really like the fact that she showed up one day and she didn't just come along. She brought her husband and brother, and we put them all to work. But we do appreciate you and everything that you do. Very deserving. Lainey McWilliams. Don't worry about me. I was organized. I mean, I was nominated. Just says that I'm diligent in my organization of the club and how it works, and that I do work to be here and pitch in to help where I'm needed. So that's it. Alex DiFrancesco. Alex writes our grants, which is not an easy task. If you've ever written a grant, y'all know it's tedious. And not only does she continue us with our old grants, she also is constantly looking for new grants out there. And that's a pat on the back. She's going to workshops, she's online, she's doing things constantly to help find funding for the Crooked Creek Art League. Alex, and by the way, she volunteers a lot too. There's not much that we have you don't see Alex at either. Sonya Diimmler. Sonya, I can't say enough about you. You've been wonderful. She did all of our workshops last year. She had them all scheduled and she worked really hard. She's always willing to help. She's a past president too. I hope I didn't miss that or anybody else. Oh, Barbara did. I'm sorry. But she's a wonderful resource if you ever need a question answered. She has even volunteered to help Al stay with us as far as workshops this year. But this past year, she had a hard year. And she did not bend to the pressure. She worked even harder and made sure that our workshops were good and successful. She's also been a tremendous part of the Arts Trail through Chapin project. And she's secured quite a few of our sponsors for our jury show. Sonya Diimmler. Our last nominee, Maureen Carter. She's somewhere. Okay. Maureen has been on our board for many years. She selflessly serves as treasurer for the past 7 years now. She keeps up with the money coming in, going out, the expenses, financial reports, and rarely do we find a mistake. And we have some pretty good money coming through here. So, you know, thank you. And I can't tell you, you know, how many times she's been there to volunteer. In fact, at the Irmo Library Show, I even gave her new tasks, and her and Sandra helped me out there. So we appreciate that. Being in charge of our multitude of fun is not easy and thankless, but Maureen does an excellent job with our checks and balances. Maureen. Come on. To introduce this year's Member of the Year, Maureen Carter, Member of the Year. Come on, folks, stand up. You're good.
I just do my job. That's all I do. And I don't really make that many mistakes.
That's what I said. You don't make mistakes. You don't make mistakes. That's it. Okay. Now, Deb, are you through counting? Uh-oh. We may have a tie for third, but we will see in just a minute. Oh, well, have somebody come over. But anyway, while that's going on, let me remind you that the pictures here tonight should go into the tap gallery out here. If you have your marsh still hanging out there, please take it home. We need to get all of these home. Thank you for your participation. We ended up with 22 pictures tonight. That's really good. So thank you. We really appreciate that. Also, I want you to know that these pictures will hang from now until our September meeting. So that Crooked Creek Park will have artwork up. Now, the one thing I also want you to know is that in September, Dale Bishop, who was the top winner in our jury show, she will have her display up there. Now, while we add from September until October, but we need y'all to remember to do so. Make sure you get your pictures down in September. If you have to take the picture down for some reason before then, please notify us. We don't want somebody to think somebody stole it. And I mean, that can happen. And, you know, so please, you know, make sure that you let us know what's going on. You keep us in the loop, we keep you in the loop, and that makes it really nice. The other thing I want to say while we're waiting for the recount, please, please, please make sure that you volunteer to get involved. There's always something that you can do. I can assure you, I never thought I could do president. In fact, I told them when they asked, no. And, you know, I got my arm out of the cast a little bit after that, but no, seriously, don't say I can't. Can't, never could do anything until he tried. So please step up and volunteer. We have wonderful artists here, wonderful artists in all categories. And I need you to please help us out and volunteer. And I go back and I remind you, we got the farmer's market this summer that we need people to volunteer. We need one person that would be nice tonight that would say, hey, I'll set it up 1 month. And then we know we got that one set. And believe me, you're not going to be there alone. There will be others of us that show up. Social media. A lot of you are good with that tweeting and whatever.
I didn't mean to stop you, but I do want to mention something. The Irma Library show is still up until the end of the month. And no.
29th, right? I'm trying to tell what date.
That's close.
28.
That's close to the end.
Yeah.
Near the end of the month. And we have already sold a couple of paintings in that show. And I hope that all of you, if you get a chance to drive over there, take a look at the show.
Oh, y'all, it's amazing at all the work we got there. It is beautiful. And we took up every little part that we could take up. I promise you. But again, also remember that the pickup for the Irmo Art Show, Friends of the Irmo Branch, is going to be here that afternoon on the 28th or 29th, not at the library. We're going to take it down. We'll bring it here and you'll pick it up from here. And I'm 95%, whatever that Saturday is, the 28th, we'll be here with your work. Please come get it. Because I don't want to leave it out for somebody to use. All right, ready now, Deb? Okay, here comes the judge. Or you are the judges. Here comes the announcement. Drum roll. Somebody needs their glasses. Okay.
After a serious recount here to ensure accuracy of the count. After a recount to ensure accuracy of the count, I am pleased to announce the winners of the annual contest. Do you want me to start with third? All right. Third place, Lisa Alberghini. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Drum roll. Very good. Second place, Rebecca Horn. And for our first place winner, a gentleman who is on a real roll here lately, Mr. Al. Congratulations,
Al. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, Al, you're not finished yet.
No, you're not finished. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who participated in the annual contest. I'm always amazed at the quality of the artwork in this league and the work that all of you guys do every day. And thank you for being so involved in our league.
I thank you for all that you've done. But hers are shorter. All right. You need to go back to the number and tell me how many
How many what?
numbers.
How many numbers?
How many people's here? Door prizes.
Oh.
Door prize time. Door prize time. And Al, you get to give the numbers. Yes. And I hope you don't remember numbers. We're going to tell you right now. We've already got our Zoom numbers in.
You can't see
A number between 1 and 40. 1 and 40. 3. Alex DiFrancesco, door prize. Somebody please write these down while we're talking. All right, never mind. She's got it. Okay. Another number. 25.
Bobby.
Bobbi Sorensen. Wait a minute. There's something going on back there. Okay. Our last door prize for tonight. 35. Sonya Diimmler. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna ask, we're gonna dismiss in just a second. I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. Take your picture. Please take it to the tap gallery to hang. And thank you for a blessed year and a successful year. And I look forward to next year working with everybody. And Sandra's got an announcement.
We want to thank Kate Black for her superb leadership.
She's still running, teaching my friends. Barbara and Sandra's been teaching me everything I know. Yes, Ruby. Oh, pick up your refreshment, your containers when you leave. And yes. Yep. Okay. It was really good. Thank you, Ruby. Rebecca Horn has an announcement.
Anybody have plans to go to the Coker Center's reception for the project?
Coker Center's reception for the project.
Was scheduled for Thursday night. It's been postponed, hopefully sometime next month.
It's been postponed. It will not be Thursday night. It'll be sometime next month. So pay attention to the social media, right? Pay attention to social media. Door prizes are a gift certificate from Jerry's Artorama. Just so we know. There was one other thing I thought I needed to say. Senior moment, but please hang your pictures before you leave and say, oh, I know what I was gonna say. Those of you on the board, like the new board members, you will be getting information, an email from me, and we will meet sometime over the summer to make sure everything is ready and smooth for September. And we will be meeting, Sandra and I are going to meet, and some other people will probably, whoever was the last year's position, will probably put them in. But anybody, again, please volunteer. We need you. Thank you. I officially adjourn the meeting.